In the grim darkness of the far future, there's only war. But how did it all begin? How did the Imperium of Man, the greatest empire humanity has ever known, nearly fall to ruin? What led to the greatest betrayal in history? The Horus Heresy. This is a story of brotherhood turned to rivalry, of loyalty shattered by ambition, and of a war so devastating that its echoes still haunt the Imperium 10,000 years later. The Horus Heresy is not just a battle. It is the moment the galaxy was set on fire. And this is just the beginning. Welcome, Kriegsmen, to the Horus Heresy Explained, a multi-part series where we unravel the truth behind the Imperium's darkest hour. In this first episode, we will explore how it all began. The Emperor's rise, the creation of the Prymarcs, and the seeds of betrayal that would one day lead to war. So, grab your bolters, steel your hearts, and prepare to witness the fall of legends. The age before the Emperor. Long before the Imperium, long before the Space Marines, humanity was scattered across the stars, isolated and broken. It was known as the Age of Strife, a time of chaos, war, and unending suffering. Warp storms raged across the galaxy, severing human worlds from one another. Rogue warlords ruled over fractured kingdoms, and xenos preyed upon the weak. Technology was lost. Knowledge faded. Mankind was on the brink of destruction. But in the shadows of old Earth, a being unlike any other prepared to reshape the galaxy. He was known by many names: the master of mankind, the anathema, the God Emperor. But at this time, he was simply the Emperor, a warlord greater than any before him. The Emperor emerged from secrecy, wielding knowledge and power beyond mortal comprehension. With an army of genetically enhanced warriors, he set forth to unify Terra. The conquest was brutal, swift, and unstoppable. The Emperor swept aside all opposition, establishing his dominion over humanity's birthplace. But Terra was just the beginning. The Great Crusade and the creation of the Prymarcs. With Earth secured, the Emperor turned his gaze to the stars. His dream was nothing short of absolute, a united galaxy ruled by humanity, freed from superstition and weakness. To achieve this, he needed an army beyond measure. Thus, the legions of Astartes were born, the Space Marines, warriors of genetic perfection, created to conquer the stars. But even they were not enough. The Emperor needed generals, demigods who could lead his armies and shape the destiny of mankind. And so, he created the Prymarcs, 20 beings of unparalleled power, each a masterpiece of genetic engineering, each destined to rule a legion of Space Marines. But fate had other plans. The newborn Prymarcs were stolen, scattered across the galaxy by the forces of chaos. The Emperor would have to find his lost sons one by one, and with each found Prymarch, his empire grew stronger. Thus began the Great Crusade, a campaign that would see the Emperor's legions reclaim world after world, uniting humanity under the imperial banner. But hidden within this grand conquest, within the Emperor's vision of unity, were cracks, tiny fractures that would one day shatter everything. The rise of Horus and the seeds of betrayal. Among the Prymarcs, one stood above the rest, one who embodied all the qualities of a leader, a warrior, and a beloved son. His name was Horus Lupercal. Horus was the first Prymarch to be found, raised on the war-torn world of Chthoniya, and molded into the Emperor's most trusted general. As the Great Crusade progressed, Horus proved himself time and time again, earning the loyalty of his brothers and the admiration of countless warriors. When the Emperor chose a Warmaster to lead the Imperium's armies in his stead, there was no doubt Horus was the one. But power can be a dangerous gift. As Warmaster, Horus was burdened with responsibilities greater than any other. He commanded not just a legion, but the entire war effort of the Imperium. His decisions shaped the fate of mankind itself. And yet, doubt began to creep into his mind. Why had the Emperor left the Crusade? Why had he abandoned his sons to return to Terra, locking himself away in secrecy? Rumors spread, whispers of deception and betrayal. Some Prymarchs began to question the Emperor's judgment, and in the shadows, an ancient evil watched and waited. The seeds of the Horus Heresy had been planted, and soon they would bear fruit. And so the stage is set. The Emperor has built his empire. The Prymarcs have risen to power, and Warmaster Horus stands at the height of his glory. But even the brightest stars can fall. What happened to Horus? How did the greatest son of the Emperor become the galaxy's greatest traitor? And what dark forces led him down the path of damnation? In the next episode of the Horus Heresy Explained, we dive into the corruption of Horus, the forces that manipulated him, and the first steps toward the bloodiest war in human history. Subscribe, Kriegsman, and prepare for the battle that changed the galaxy forever. The Horus Heresy has begun.